Today we're going to have a look at why people often experience imposter syndrome after an autism diagnosis, why it's completely normal and what you can do about it. If you like the video, please click like and please subscribe so that you can be kept updated with new videos. What is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is rooted in that feeling of self-doubt and the feeling that you are going to be exposed as being a fraud. We often think about it in the workplace. So we might have a job and we think that other people know that we're not good enough. We worry that we don't really know what we're doing and that other people are going to find out. But it's extremely common after an adult autism diagnosis. I don't think I've ever worked with a client who hasn't experienced imposter syndrome, and it's certainly something that I have had to work through. After a diagnosis or after choosing to self-diagnose, most people feel a huge sense of relief. This provides answers to things that have maybe troubled you your entire life. That feeling then is often replaced. It's like this little imposter voice comes in saying this can't be real. Maybe other people question whether you're autistic. You might really think, how have I lived life so far and not known that I'm autistic, and other people haven't known I'm autistic? That's when these real feelings of self-questioning and self-doubt kick in. So it's normal, but it can really affect how you go forwards following a diagnosis. So let's have a look at some of the things that you can do to sort of help work through imposter syndrome and to move forwards in a positive way. One important thing to remember is if you've been through a diagnostic process of any kind, trust the person who gave you that assessment or diagnosis. They know what they're doing. They also know an awful lot more than your friends and family do about autism. So trust in their opinion. If you've chosen to self-diagnose, you'll probably have done tons of research into the subject, you'll have done tons of reading, and you also know what your internal experience is. So although you might lack that sort of official diagnosis and the peace of mind that comes with that, you will have a clearer idea about your experience than other people do. Secondly, it's important to remind yourself of why you sought out an autism diagnosis in the first place, or why you've perhaps spent the last few months or years really researching autism to come to the conclusion that you're autistic. You didn't do this for no reason. You have probably had certain issues, certain differences that have shown up throughout your life. You're not an imposter. Those experiences are real. It's also really important to remember other people do not know your internal experience. So they might see somebody who appears confident, who maybe has a good job, who appears to have their life together. They might have all of these ideas that they've formed around you, and they'll find it really hard to believe that you might be autistic. You know your internal experience. So if you feel that there are extreme differences, if you really identify with everything that you've read about autism, that is real. So when you feel that little voice coming in telling you you're a fraud, you need to find a way of just pushing it away and coming back to what your actual life experience is. If you're hearing that little imposter voice telling you that you're a fraud and you don't have autism because perhaps you've been on the internet or reading books and thinking that other people maybe struggle in areas that you don't struggle in, remember that autism is a huge spectrum. Even within level 1 autism, there's a massive variety of experiences and intensity of experiences. So don't compare yourself to somebody else and think I can't be autistic because their experience is different to mine in this area. Finally, if you're experiencing imposter syndrome about your diagnosis, just think to yourself, have I ever experienced imposter syndrome about other things? Have I been in the workplace and worried that people will find out I'm not good enough? Do I question my parenting abilities and think that other people will know that I'm a bit of a fraud pretending to be a great mother? Question where you've experienced it before. How did you work through that? What made sense to you? Use those skills that you've maybe developed in the past to deal with imposter syndrome to help you through your autism diagnosis and the feelings of being a fraud that come around that. I've got a whole load of free resources on my website, so you will get the information at the end of this video. Please visit, please download, and please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for listening.